Alex Eala, 40 minutes, one face, and every pencil number on screen. Last week, the AI set me one target. Rivet the focal point, let the lash line be the sharpest edge on the page, keep everything else soft. At the end, it grades whether I hit it. And this week, it found something to improve in its own lesson. 27 pencils, all Prismacolor, and one thing before we start, because it decides whether you can follow this at all. Every number on this list is a role, not a requirement. I'll tell you the role each time, so if your set has 12 pencils and none of the numbers match, you'll still know what to reach for. And the framing line, once, this is going to look easier on screen than it feels in your hand. That gap is normal. It isn't information you're missing, it's reps. 70% warm gray across the whole face, light pressure, every visible zone. Then 90% warm gray on a second pass, but only into the recesses and only to mid-value. The roll is a warm neutral, never a cool one. Anything warm and gray in your set works. Think of it as placing anchors, not filling. Lightest zone, darkest zone, midtone. Reach dark by layering, never by starting dark. Parma violet into the deepest pockets, eye sockets, the shadow side of the fold beside the nose. Grade lavender, gentler, for the secondary shadows and the sides of the neck. The roll is a cool veil, not a replacement. Light pressure. This is transparency, not coverage. Skin and shadow is cool because it's catching bounced light from the sky and from her top. A shadow with no cool in it reads as dead gray. Then ginger root. a warm, peachy base across every millimeter of skin, face, ears, and neck. The roll is warm local skin tone, the color she'd be with no light on her at all. Here's the discipline, and mine went patchy 6 weeks running before I understood it. Do not model in this pass. No darks, no lights, no finishing one cheek before the other. Just lay the hue evenly and let it look unfinished. It's supposed to. Under soft frontal light, the form does not come from dramatic shadow. There isn't any. It comes from a careful gradient, and that's harder. Sienna brown where the cheekbone turns and beside the nose. Beige sienna bridging the lower cheek into the jaw. The roll is a warm midtone with earth in it, not a brown, not a gray. Curved strokes that echo the plane, so the direction does half the modeling for you. Then the shadows. Light umber in the eye sockets and the fold beside the mouth. 70% warm gray under the chin and along the sides of the neck. These are the darkest darks in the face apart from the pupils and the hair, and they still stay mid-value and warm. That's the whole thing. A cool dark shadow in soft light reads as a hole or a bruise. A warm mid-value shadow reads as form turning away. Match the reference's actual contrast, not the contrast you think a face should have. This is the one the AI is grading. Last week it told me, rivet the focal point, the lash line carries the single crispest edge in the drawing and everything else stays soft. So watch how far I take this, because in 25 minutes it rules on whether I did. This is also easy to flatten the first time, and mine has gone dead more than once. It isn't a talent problem, it's a reps problem, and I'll show you the way back before the block is over. Pupil first. Black at heavy pressure, sitting at 12 o'clock inside the iris with indigo underneath so it isn't a hole in her head. Then the iris and radial strokes out from the pupil. Salmon warm on the lower half where light bounces in, cool gray on the upper half where the brow shadows it. An iris is a sphere, not a disc. If it comes out as one flat-filled circle, it reads as a sticker. The sclera is never white. Powder blue up top, cream below. White belongs to one place only, the catchlight. And then the lash line, PC901 or PC1024 sharp point heavy pressure. This is the hardest, darkest edge in the entire portrait. Everything else gets measured against it. The lower lash line is the opposite instruction. PC1067 or PC1089. Barely any pressure, a suggestion rather than a line. Hard on top, soft underneath. That contrast is what the benchmark actually is. Add a touch of pink or red to the inner and outer corners of both eyes, where the tiny blood vessels are more visible. Then, use a white gel pen to add highlights if you didn't leave those areas blank. Two or 3 minutes here, and it's the step everybody skips. Ginger root, then beige sienna, very light across the entire face, ears, and neck. You are tinting, not recoloring. By now, the face is a set of separate zones that all look slightly disjointed, and this glaze ties them into one surface. Skin sits as one material, not as regions. That's the whole difference between a portrait that reads cohesive and one that reads assembled. Then the glow. Lush pink in the middle of each cheekbone, salmon on the nose tip and bridge, and a tiny hit of goldenrod right at the cheekbone apex. These are the warmest, most saturated notes in the whole face, and they're what stop it reading ashen. Keep the warm zone about fingertip sized and put it on the actual bone ridge. Too far forward and too bright, and you get two round patches stuck on her face. One step, and the whole thing is edges. The upper lip is darker and cooler because it turns away from the light. PC 258 or PC 941 under PC 1001. The lower lip is lighter and warmer because it catches it. PC 928 and PC 1001, with a tiny stroke of PC 922 poppy red at the center where the curve is highest. Build that value relationship before you build any color, and then soften the lip line with PC 1084 until it's nearly invisible. Think of the mouth as a crease, rendered through value change, never as a line. "5 minutes on hair, and the first thing to say is that this is two different jobs. There's the bun, which is a wrapped, rounded form, and there are the loose strands on her shoulders, which fall. Draw them the same way, and neither one works. Underpainting. Sienna brown, then black raspberry and dahlia purple for the undertone, indigo blue in the deepest zones. The role of all four is a dark, chromatic color. Black hair is never black. A black pencil gives you a hole where hair should be. Now the direction, and this is the whole illusion. On the bun, the strokes curve around the coil following the wrap, changing direction wherever a section turns. On the loose strands, they run full length, down, and slightly outward. A bun drawn with downward strokes reads as a flat patch stuck to the head. Then, the one thing the lesson didn't tell me and I had to find. The darkest value in the whole drawing's hair goes in the crevice where the bun meets the head, plus the shadow it casts onto the crown. That single dark is what makes the bun sit on her head instead of hovering above it. Midtones with PC Swan 82 and PC 946, bronze catching the top of the bun where light actually lands. Highlights last, beige sienna, light peach in the brightest zones, a touch of goldenrod near her face where warm skin, light bounces into the hair. And no white, no cream yet. Highlights and dark hair red through contrast, not lightness. The bun takes one broad, soft band across its top. The loose strands take narrow, separate catchlights. That difference is the whole reason a bun reads as a bun. Her hair's up, so the neck is completely exposed. There's nothing over it to hide behind, which makes it load-bearing rather than an afterthought. And here it is, the one the AI is going to catch. I'd rather tell you before you watch me do it, my neck came out ashen. Cool, dirty, gray. It's the thing to improve on this drawing. The principle is worth more than anything else in this video. A shadow is not an absence of light. Skin and shadow is still catching warm light bounced off everything nearby. Build it from gray and it reads as a whole. Build it from warmth and it reads as form turning away. So the neck carries the same base as the face, ginger root and beige sienna straight down from the jaw, and only then 70% warm gray and light umber under the chin and along the sides. Mid-value warm, not as dark as the core shadows in her face. That's the overshoot, and it's my longest running habit. The top is purple, and it has exactly one job: to sit back so her face comes forward. Dahlia purple over the whole thing, loose strokes, even coverage, black raspberry in the folds, indigo in the very deepest only. The roll is a desaturated violet that stays darker than her face. No black here. Black over violet turns it gray-brown and dead. Then the step most tutorials skip, and it's pure physics. That purple is bouncing violet light upward onto her jaw. Parma. Violet feathered up half an inch from the neckline, then grayed lavender lighter still on top, and Parma violet is the same pencil that went into the shadows back at the start, so the bounce and the shadows agree with each other. The whole figure ends up in one cool family. Last block, and this is where the benchmark is won or lost. Sharpen only one thing, the upper lash line, black, sharp point, heavy. 2 or 3 individual lashes at the outer corner, very light, suggesting mass, not counting hairs. Then soften everything else with grayed lavender. Lower lash line, jawline, cheek to neck, the outer hair outline. Nothing else in this drawing is allowed to compete. Then the highlights. Cream on the forehead apex and cheekbone peaks, and white at maximum pressure on the very brightest point only, fingertip sized, no bigger. And then burnish. Cream or a colorless blender, heavy, circular across the whole face until no paper texture shows. It will lighten your values. That's normal, not a mistake. So you punch the darks back up afterward and burnish again lightly to set. Burnish, darken, burnish. Last thing, a hazy white veil appears. That's wax bloom. Wipe it gently with a dry cloth and it's gone. So, the target was rivet the focal point, hit, with one catch. The eyes are the clear, sharp accent, the hierarchy holds, the lash line carried it. Second target in a row, it's ruled clean. And the catch is the one you already saw coming, the skin, worst at the neck. But here's the part I didn't expect. It traced that back to how its own first step was written, and it rewrote it. The value map you followed at the start of this video is the improved version. 15 weeks in, the lesson is now learning too. The whole lesson, all 22 pencils, all 18 steps, the improved value map, is a free PDF on the site. Links in the description. No email, no checkout, it's just the file. And if you draw along with this one, send it to me. I'll run it through the same 3 lines you just watched. The verdict, what to correct, what to do next. Same treatment, no charge. That's the part of this I actually like doing. Next week, Coco Gauff.